Hey everybody, Joe Vanourney, Cherry the Geek TV. We are here at the Hearst Center for the Arts in Cedar Falls, Iowa, with Matthew Wilson, who's the co-curator of a brand new exhibit honoring photographer artist Denis Roussel. Permanence and Impermanence is the name of the exhibit. It's running here through March 9th of 2025. Matthew, welcome to Cherry the Geek TV.
Thank you.
Talk to us about Denis. It's a personal story, right? You knew him personally. Tell people how he came into your life and what the relationship is with him, and how you came to co-curate the exhibit.
Sure. Well, Denis is from France. He was a chemistry student in France studying chemistry, and he met my sister, Rachel, who was an exchange student there, and they fell in love and moved back here to the States. And as a chemistry student, he was interested in photography, and he was president of the photography club at his French university. And when he moved to the United States, he decided he wanted to study photography. So he studied photography and got his MFA from the University of Iowa, and produced a body of work. And around that time, I was running an art gallery at Wartburg College, and showed his work there. And some of the work in this show was in that show in 2006. And so I knew him as a brother-in-law, but I also knew him as a fellow artist and art enthusiast. And I just loved seeing his evolution as an artist, from a chemistry student who was just kind of playing around to, an artist who really had a vision for the kind of work he wanted to create.
Well, let's take a look at some of his items, and we can talk about them. All right, we're here in front of one of his pieces. It's a cyanotype on recycled cardboard. Talk about this particular.
Yeah, so Denis, this period of his work, he was a father of 3 children and working part-time, and didn't have a whole lot of time on his hands to find things to photograph. And so this is kind of a really inventive body of work, because literally one day he was rummaging around his recycling bin and pulling stuff out. And so what you see here is probably a cake mix or a cereal box or something that he pulled out of his recycling bin, and then coated the back with a cyanotype material, and then exposed it to this is like a little container that you might buy a set of grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes in. So the subject is coming from his recycling bin. The medium is coming from his recycling bin. And so it's just kind of an interesting commentary on reusing things, but also kind of finding beauty in things that we might think of as trash or garbage. So that's kind of this whole series of works from his recycling bin. There's a whole series of works from his compost pile, where he's literally pulling out old vegetables and fruit and photographing it and bringing out its visual beauty.
Let's take a look at some of his other work. So Denis also works with tin. Here's an example of one of the tin types he's working with.
The interesting thing about these is, if you've never seen a collodion tin type being made, it's a very convoluted process involving a lot of different chemicals and chemical baths and coatings. And I've seen him make these, and it's probably from start to finish, it's maybe an hour and a half per image. And you don't really get a sense of what the image looks like until the end. And so it's a very time-consuming, painstaking process. And these are the original tin types. And what he would then do with these is he would digitally scan them. And then over here, we see some digital prints of these. So if you see, this is the original tin type. If you want to step over this way. So here's that same image, but as a digital print. And some of the other images in the gallery were, same thing, scans of original collodion tin types that were then digitally printed in editions so that he could, show them and sell them in galleries.
Awesome. Okay. All right, and then we also have an Anthotype. This is a very interesting piece. The name of this exhibit, Denis Roussel, Permanence and Impermanence, I think these two pieces here kind of exemplify that. I want to explain what this is.
Sure. So the Anthotype is a type of print made with vegetables. So this piece was made from arugula, right? So an Anthotype, you can't fix it like a silver nitrate print. So the minute you expose it, it starts to fade. And it's a gradual process, but eventually what you see behind here will be a blank piece of paper. So he created these to slowly disappear. And as a viewer, the interesting thing about this piece is to view it, you have to open these doors up. By opening these doors, you then expose the piece to light, which then shortens its life.
Should we?
Let's begin here. So over time, this will fade, and there's actually one of these that already has faded to the point where when you open it up, it's just a blank beige piece of paper.
So that's arugula, and then what do we have here?
Here we have, this was made with beet cooking water, so water that he boiled beets in to get the red vegetable ink from. And so again, the subject matter of this piece.
How much brighter was this when he first created it? Was it super bright? Like, is this like how far into the?
I think this one is starting to fade quite badly, and who knows how much longer it'll be around. But the other interesting thing is, again, the subject matter is also from the recycling bin. So it's.
So permanence and impermanence. Talk about how that kind of embodies his entire work.
Yeah. So he passed away kind of tragically, very suddenly in 2017, and the type of artist that would make this work that was intentionally designed to slowly fade over time, to have a mortal life. It's just an interesting commentary on our own state of existence. We're here for a certain period of time. You can't hide away behind the doors. In order to be a work of art, you have to be seen. But to be seen, you then diminish yourself. So I think it's just an interesting commentary, and also the fact the artist who made this is now no longer with us.
And yet his work is still being seen.
Work, still here.
Well, you can come see the work. The artist is Denis Roussel. The exhibit's called Denis Roussel, Permanence and Impermanence. It's at the Hearst Center for the Arts, Cedar Falls, Iowa, through March 9th of 2025. This is Matthew Wilson. Stay tuned, more coverage. Cherry the Geek TV.